Trump authorizes deployment of 300 National Guard troops to Chicago. President Donald Trump has authorized the deployment of 300 National Guard troops to Chicago to address what he says is out-of-control crime. The move came hours after immigration authorities said they faced off with protesters in the Democrat-run city and shot an armed woman when she and others rammed their cars into law enforcement vehicles. State and local leaders have for weeks criticized Trump's deployment plans and called it an abuse of power. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker said Trump was attempting to manufacture a crisis. The announcement came as a federal judge in Portland, Oregon, another liberal city, temporarily blocked the Trump administration from deploying 200 troops there. Judge Corinne Immergut called Trump's statements about conditions in Portland untethered from the facts and said the move violated the Constitution. She said the use of the military to quell unrest without the state of Oregon consenting risked the sovereignty of that state and others, adding that it also inflamed tensions in the city and caused increased protests. Immergut ruled that the administration's arguments for the deployment risk blurring the line between civil and military federal power to the detriment of this nation. While it's unclear whether troops have arrived in Chicago, any such deployment would likely be met with legal challenges. The city is the latest, many of them led by Democrats, to be targeted for a controversial deployment of troops, joining Washington, Los Angeles, Memphis, and Portland. The deployments have posed both legal and constitutional questions, as National Guard troops are typically deployed by a state's governor, and century-old laws limit the government's use of the military for domestic matters. Chicago has seen an increase in protests over immigration enforcement in the city, many of them happening outside U.S. immigration and customs enforcement facilities. Amidst ongoing violent riots and lawlessness that local leaders like Pritzker have refused to step in to quell, President Trump has authorized 300 National Guardsmen to protect federal officers and assets, White House spokeswoman Abigail Jackson said. President Trump will not turn a blind eye to the lawlessness plaguing American cities. On Saturday, just before Trump authorized troops there, U.S. Border Patrol personnel shot a woman in Chicago after a group of people rammed cars into immigration enforcement vehicles, the Department of Homeland Security, DHS, said in a statement. The woman was armed, the statement said. The woman's injuries were unclear. DHS said she drove herself to a local hospital. Earlier this week, the president talked about his ongoing military deployments to U.S. cities while addressing high-ranking leaders across the military. He told military leaders he wants American cities used as training grounds for U.S. troops so they can combat the enemy from within and quell unrest. They're very unsafe places, and we're going to straighten them out one by one, he said of democratically led cities, including Chicago. He told the military leaders it would be a major part for some of the people in this room. Trump has threatened to send troops to Chicago for nearly a month, citing crime and shootings in the city. Violent crime in Chicago has fallen significantly over the past 2 years. Between January and June, the homicide rate was down by a third compared with the same period last year, according to the Council on Criminal Justice. But the overall levels in Chicago remain substantially higher than the average for many U.S. cities. There were at least 58 people shot, 8 fatally, over the Labor Day holiday weekend last month.
The BBC News.